Hi everyone, welcome to today's video, and today I'm just going to talk about some fundamentals of packaging design, because when you're going to design a packaging template or a packaging design for your particular company or a brand, there are a few pointers that we all have to keep in mind in. So I'll be just taking you guys through each point and explaining it in brief so that it's a lot easier for you, and if you like, you can also jot down points in your notebook so that you do not forget, and you can refer these points as and when you require. So this is just for a reference image so that you can see all the different companies and brands. So as you know that each company and each brand have a specific story behind it, they have a specific mindset, value that they all follow, right? So I'll just dive right in. So talking about fundamentals of packaging design, so effective packaging is a crucial part of the marketing mix for consumer packaged goods or CPG brands, and it's only becoming more and more critical. So your packaging is an essential aspect of your brand, and second only to the product and the product experience as well. There are a few basic things to consider before we start packaging design, right? So as I had also mentioned in my earlier videos as well, that your packaging design actually attracts the consumer to go ahead and also purchase your product, right? So it has to be visually appealing to as well. It has to be properly packed so that it's not damaged from any side, and also keeping in mind that it follows all the values and the mindset that the company is trying to portray, right? So the first crucial thing that we have to remember while doing your packaging design is to have an insight, the importance of having an insight. All designs start by understanding the insights, understanding the company's segments, etc., right? So the designers want to understand what the people are thinking and feeling, rather than just being overly self-absorbed or self-interested, right? So before we start, we have to completely understand what the ethics that the company follow, and then we challenge ourselves to connect better with the people around us by being more insightful about them, right? So even if you're talking to a certain person and we understand the stories that they have to share, understanding the reading between the lines to understand exactly what's going inside their mind, so that we can just jot down all those pointers, and that insight as well also helps us to make a really good packaging design. Second fundamental of packaging design is perception is the key to interpreting and understanding. Great design requires creativity and imagination. All creativity begins with perception as well. So if you see a certain image, right? So you have to challenge yourself to think out of the box and see how different people will actually look at a certain image in a different way, because not everybody thinks the way each person does, right? So each person has its own thinking process, their own opinions about the image, right? So that's perception, how they look at an image and perceive it according to them, right? So perception is more abstract and leaps and beyond judgment. So you don't judge a particular image, you observe and extract your own opinions about it. So before you allow your brain to make a judgment, I highly recommend that we pause and reflect to consider one alternative way of viewing it, right? So there are so many ways that you can perceive different objects, perceive different images, and how they can be used in different ways and forms as well. Thirdly is that ideas are foundational. So before we begin with any design process, we initially do get some ideas that how we can take action to reach our goal, right? So ideas are so central to the human condition. So once an idea is formed, we can't stop to think about it on how to act about it, right? So it's an inspiration, action, and great ideas are catalysts for the design process. So whenever we think of ideas, it's highly recommended that we jot down all the ideas in different forms and different ways that we perceive it, so that we can design a really good packaging template. Fourthly, it's also pretty important, which is the story behind each company, right? Stories play a key role to the human condition. Stories are so important because they are often the vehicles through which we share our ideas. Human beings are drawn to stories. It can help you to put flesh on the bones and give a really great idea. So ideas, I highly recommend that you don't just write down an idea without actually giving a proper thought behind it. So there has to be some personal story or like a personal touch behind that particular idea, so that it also attracts the consumers a lot more, right? So how many times you have seen advertisements, for example, for hair removal creams or beverages or food items or skincare, right? So if you look at these advertisements carefully, there's always some kind of a story behind it, even for sanitary napkins as well, right? So whether you use them to help them sell your design solution to your clients, or even just to inform your design, through stories you can play around with the graphic system and it still passes on to the day. So that's important. Stories, always having a good story or like a small incident behind it, so that you can use that story to come up with different ideas for your packaging template as well. And lastly, having the courage to make your packaging template. So how many times as designers that whenever we make any particular design, we are often critiqued, and often our mentors, they might not understand or able to connect to what your idea is about, and quite often they might just reject your idea or just throw it away in the dustbin, right? So a lot of the times it's happened with me as well, that I get a little stressed out or a little anxious that I don't know how my teachers or my mentors are going to react to my idea, because we do feel afraid that it might get rejected or maybe even ridiculed, right? So history proves that new ideas and concepts are meant to go with apathy, ridicule, or even hostility, as I had mentioned, which is why creativity values imagination over image, but it also demands a strong dose of determination and self-belief. So if you really, really believe that your idea is going to be a great design, so we should go about it, right? We should go forward with this, and we shouldn't feel that our idea is going to be rejected. We should strongly believe in our ideas as well, and about our thinking process as well. Sometimes you need the courage to confront brutal facts in order to face complex situations. It'll help you to create that competitive advantage, and it drives commerce and can also improve people's lives and experiences. So that's about it. So there were 5 fundamental packaging designs. So I'll repeat them again so that you have a good idea as well. So the first fundamental idea was the importance of insight. Second was perception. Third was ideas. Fourth is stories. And the fifth is having courage. So keep all these 5 pointers in mind when you do your packaging design. So I hope you found this video to be useful, and hopefully you will be using these pointers the next time you do your packaging design. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.